Hey, soon we're having a memorial, and you have to come. It's the most important event. This invite is for you and your mom. I can tell you more about it at our study.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
See you later, Sophia.
That's right, Camille. Okay, let's move on to the next paragraph. Do you mind reading?
Okay, sure. Many people hope for good things to happen, but they cannot be sure that their hope...
Okay. Now it's your turn. Life was perfect. Adam and Eve disobeyed Jehovah. They lost their perfect life and died. Right! After that, nobody was perfect. So everyone would grow old and die. Jesus came to earth and taught everyone about Jehovah. He gave his life. He died for us. That's right, so that in the future, nobody will have to die.
So we've just been watching a clip from the latest Caleb and Sophia Become Jehovah's Friend epic episode. The title of this particular Become Jehovah's Friend is The Greatest Act of Love, and as you can see there, it's all focused on the memorial. So they've made essentially a Pixar-style cartoon emphasizing to kids the importance of the memorial being the annual event at which Jehovah's Witnesses collectively disrespect the Lord's evening meal. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. It literally says in the Bible that Christians are to drink of the wine and eat of the bread. And instead, Jehovah's Witnesses say, well, this has got to be just for those who are anointed, those who are going to rule in heaven. So what we'll do is we'll make sure everybody doesn't eat of the bread and drink of the wine, and we'll just have it passed around so that everyone just kind of looks at it and then passes it. And that's what happens at a Jehovah's Witness memorial, but they regard it as kind of the most sacred event of the year. And here, young Jehovah's Witnesses are being trained on how to invite their classmates to this event.
When we go to the memorial, it's a way to say thank you. I hope my mom wants to come too. Mom!
Hi, baby.
Should we get ready for the memorial?
Oh, honey. It was a long day. I'm so sorry. I don't think we can make it. Can't wait to see you tonight. Let us know if you need a ride. It's Sophia's mom.
Mom, we can do this.
Let's do it.
Yay! Mommy,
Yes, my little princess?
I'm glad you're studying the Bible.
Me too.
At this time, we will have the passing of the wine. As we all go home tonight, think about what Jesus' sacrifice means to you.
Or before we do that, let's just talk a little bit about what we've just seen. So we're about to see a depiction of paradise. That's where all of this is going. Sophia's friend is about to see what she can look forward to in welcoming back her grandmother, who we see earlier in the cartoon, passes away. And so it's really kind of messed up. It uses kind of emotional manipulation to use the death of dead loved ones as leverage on children to make them more invested in the Jehovah's Witness message. But yeah, it's interesting how Sophia manages to not just pitch and sell the memorial to her friend, but then her friend picks up the baton and is also able to convince her mother. And I found it a little bit jarring when her mother says, "Yes, my little princess," because the truth of the matter, of course, is if these two end up becoming Jehovah's Witnesses, currently the mother is studying, that's what we see in the cartoon. If these two end up becoming Jehovah's Witnesses and this little girl ends up getting removed from the congregation, which can still happen even with all of the latest measures, then she'll very quickly no longer be Mummy's little princess. She'll be Mummy's little princess who Mummy cannot talk to and must treat as though she's dead. That's the reality of the organization that is being promoted in this cartoon.
Think about what Jesus' sacrifice means to you.
Come with me.
Zoe. Turn around.
Zoe!
Grandma? It's you!
My baby girl.
I missed you.
Grandma's here now.
Jehovah has shown love in many ways. But when he gave Jesus life for us, that was the greatest act of love.
So yes, that's the latest Become Jehovah's Friend epic cartoon, The Greatest Act of Love. Zoe gets reunited with her dead grandmother in paradise because she goes to the memorial and apparently ends up becoming one of Jehovah's Witnesses. So make of that what you will. I've made a video before, by the way, on the problems with the paradise teaching, and I always cringe whenever they depict paradise, which they frequently do, be it in music videos or illustrations. And now in this cartoon, we get a cartoon version of what paradise looks like. And it just seems to just be this weird place where people are just randomly wandering around gardens talking to each other, which, I mean, fair enough, if that's your idea of paradise, I guess. The questions I would have would be, why are the Bible characters, which I'm guessing are the people dressed in ancient garb, why do they have to wear ancient garb? Why aren't they allowed to wear the same clothes as everybody else? Do they have to wear ancient clothing to identify that they are people from ancient times? That doesn't really make much sense to me. And also, how does everybody have so much time on their hands if we're seeing there some quite sophisticated engineering? I mean, they've created what looks like a man-made island in front of a waterfall with bridges and with decking and with some quite ornate woodwork and or metalwork. So, as I've repeatedly argued, where are all the lumber mills, and where are all the metal foundries and mines and quarries and people toiling away to create this utopia? You never see that, do you? You just see people kind of wandering around, almost bored, to be honest, just like, oh, let's mingle, let's just talk to each other. There's nothing interesting to me about that version of paradise. And I think that when you actually devote any amount of thought to paradise, as I've argued before, the whole thing just comes crumbling down. The teaching itself is not rooted in scripture. The word paradise only appears 4 or 5 times in the entire Bible and is almost never referring to an actual earthly paradise. So if this is actually God's will for mankind, he's communicating it extremely poorly, or in an extremely elusive way. When you actually study the scriptures, it's clear that God's intention, or the overall game plan, is that when people die, they go to heaven. That there isn't really, unless you invoke restorationist texts referring to the prosperity of God's people if they obey him, which talks about, paradise in the here and now because God's people are being blessed by God. Unless you invoke those verses, there really is nothing in the Bible that gets you to the Jehovah's Witness version of paradise. And yet this is what is keeping nearly 9 million Jehovah's Witnesses under the spell of the organization. And what's most chilling, what's most inappropriate about this whole thing is that they're using the memories of our dead loved ones, in this case, Zoe's memory of her grandmother. They're using death and grief and bereavement as emotional leverage to get people into the organization and keep them trapped there.